Greetings, friends, and welcome to the den with me, Justin the Red Island Shaver. Looking forward to this one. I know Johan is looking forward to this one. Ewan, sorry. Over at Shaven Butcher here on the Tubes of You. I know he's really looking forward to this because I think probably in this week alone he's going to add another 1,000 views to my previous Williams tutorial. So thank you, Ewan. I appreciate it. But anyway, see ya, Williams. A lot of people hate it. Most people hate it. Some people love it. I happen to love it. And yeah, and as you can see, this is not a puck of Williams per se. It is a puck of Williams that I made, and actually it's starting to I can pop that right out. So this is Williams in all its glory. I'm just gonna wet the bottom of that and stick it back in the tub. This is Williams in all its glory. But one of the biggest tips I found was I shaved this down with a microplaner and put it in here. And if you can see that, I can actually push my finger into it. It is still kind of soft. So it's got a softer consistency now than the actual puck of Williams. A puck of Williams is really, really hard, kind of crumbly. So step number one, get yourself an empty soap tub. Take a microplaner, so like not a cheese grater, but a microplaner, which is like the really, really fine grater. Like say if you're going to shave some Parmesan over a dish, or you're gonna zest a piece of citrus fruit like a lemon or a lime, the one that makes the really small shavings. Take a microplaner and microplane that entire puck of Williams down into here, into a tub. Then all I did was add a little bit of water and I made like a paste, like a slurry, because as soon as I added the water, it just like kind of like just sucked it up, right? And then I formed it into a puck with my fingers, and then a bunch of water rose to the top. I poured the water off, I let it cure for a couple days, and I ended up with a softer puck of Williams. It's tip number one. I think that seemed to help. Now, that being said, I'm trying not to flex here. I can take a brand new puck of Williams out of a box, which I have somewhere here in the house, and still get a lather with it. But I got to work at it a little bit. So yeah, plane it into a puck. All right, so we're gonna get into the lathering. We'll talk some more about it. Using a badger brush today. I know Ewan's been trying every knot he has. He's been throwing every knot he has at it. I'm using a badger brush, actually my best badger brush, my CoyoteCuts. Just shook out the water, squeezed the water out. Now we're gonna load. Okay, step number two with Williams. Lower your expectations. And I mean really lower your expectations as far as lather goes, and what your lather is going to look and feel like. Okay, this is not Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. This is not First Canadian. This is not Taylor of Old Bond Street. This is not Ariana and Evans or Sterling or Ad Nauseum. It's not any of those. This is not, and as you can see, look at that lather. Look at how that's sucking up into the brush tips already. Looks just like a regular lather, doesn't it? Looks just like a regular soap. You know why it looks like a regular soap? Because this puck is a little bit softer, because I grated it, right? Anyway, I digress. This is not going to build a super voluminous, heavy lather. And if you want to know what I mean by heavy, like heavy as in the weight, the heft that you get on your face, like with a super fatted soap. This is not going to do that. So you have to teach yourself that if you're going to reach for the Williams, it's going to be a thinner, low structure lather. But you can make a stable, low structure lather with Williams. You absolutely can. I think what happens with this is we're so conditioned to those super fatted soaps that make this just this big, huge, heavy, dense, really fluffy cloud of lather that we keep, we'll load the absolute ass out of a knot with Williams, and we're going to try and get that lather, and it's not going to happen. And the more you add water to it, of course, when you try to get to that stage, it's just going to break. It's not going to hold, right? So you gotta remember that. So now I got it loaded. So you got some proto lather on the face, just like I'm doing any other shave video with any of my super fatted soaps. Brush tips, nicely loaded. There's really no, like soupy, watery, like kind of mess that you get sometimes if you're loading off the puck. And I'm just going to apply that to the face. And as you can see already, it just looks like soap. And now I'm just going to build my lather. I'm only doing 3 applications of water. And yes, I am using distilled water. I could use hard water, but I use distilled for everything anyway. I keep a jug of distilled water in the den. Every single one of my lathers is made with distilled water. 100% of the time. Doesn't matter what soap I'm using. So once again, First Canadian, A&E, all of it. And look at that. See? Look. Look how, you know, that's nice and thick right there. That is not going to dissipate any. So now I'm going to do my first application of water, just dipping the tips. Dipping the tips lightly. And now I'm just going to work that bit of water in, same as I always would. And like, I can feel it in the brush, that there is weight in this brush already, just from the soap. Just like any other load. And as you can see, I got peaks forming. Smooth those out. That's what the brush looks like already. I mean, and there's no movie magic here. There is no, there's no tricks. And if you guys don't believe me that this is just Williams, I could always get the microplaner out on another subsequent video, and I will microplane that other puck of Williams in on top of this and show you that there's no movie tricks. I think that's one of the keys to getting a more reliable, stable lather. So this is application of water number 2. Being very careful because I don't want to drown this out, but I know this is going to take, and I just lost a bloop there somewhere. Oh well, whatever, I'll find that later. But just taking care not to drown this out. And just remember, I'm still looking for that lower structure lather. I'm not going to get a huge voluminous lather. I'm going to work that in. Some of it on my shirt. Dip the tips one more time. And this is already going to be sufficiently slick to shave with, so I'm not adding any more water after this. This is it. This is the final application of water. I'm good with this. I'm happy. It's going to be nice and slick. It's going to make a stable lather. Take a look at that brush after the scrub. There's plenty of soap in that knot. Got lather everywhere. Look at that flow through. It's just lather. Now, my vision isn't that good. I can't tell if there's micro bubbles in there. Maybe you guys can. But it don't matter because they're not going to affect this any way, shape, or form. If there is micro bubbles in that, this lather is not going to break down. It's not going to dissipate. I'm going to put this knot back in the scuttle, which is a cool scuttle, by the way, because it's warm out. I could also do this with warm water. I could do this with hot water. This isn't going to degrade in the scuttle at all. That's a well-built lather right there. That ain't going nowhere. That's going to stay in that brush until I ask for more. And look at that. Look at that. That is not going anywhere. Nice. All right, so we'll pour the water out. Brush into the scuttle. Clean up a little bit. Oh, look at that big bloop of lather right there. That's about the equivalent of all Johan's full face of lather right there. Sorry, Johan. I'm going to run that down the drain. Clear off the work area. We'll get into the shave, and I'm actually going to use a camisori today for Robert Minster. I was talking to Robert yesterday. He liked my shavette tips, so I'm going to try and see if I can get some more shavette tips today. And plus, I want to do something that's going to take just a little bit longer to do my passes, so you can see that this cloud of white goodness ain't going nowhere. So the Feather Artist Club stainless steel camisori. Absolutely love this razor. I have a feather Professional in here on its 9th use. So one of the big things with this is grip. It's like a regular straight razor. I'm going to put 2 fingers on top, a thumb underneath, actually 3 fingers on top because Camisori. So 1, 2, 3, thumb underneath, and then my pinky is going to go underneath to lock the whole thing in place. Now we're going to put this on the skin. I like to put it on spine first and just gently roll the spine off my face and shave. Very light pressure, because these feather blades are ridiculously sharp, and this is a very shallow shaving angle, so keep that in mind if you're using a feather Camisori. You just want the spine off your face, and it's ready to shave. You do not need to add any pressure. The way the head is beveled actually is designed to push your skin up. Very nice. Take a look at that lather on the razor. Not going anywhere. It's not going to bloop either. We're definitely not at a bloop stage. You're really not going to get to a bloop stage, as we call it, where the lather just falls off your blade or your razor. You're not really going to get to a bloop stage with Williams. If you get to that stage, you've pretty much guaranteed that your lather's going to disappear. Go other side of the face, as you can see, lather is still there. And we do the same on the other side. Very nice. This razor is very quiet too. Make sure you stretch. And that's that. What do you think, Johan? Pretty good looking lather to me. As you can see, all the lather's still on my face. Going for the cold water rinse. Very nice first pass, like I said, just under a day's growth. I love using the shavettes though. I find them so gentle on the face compared to doing DE shaves every day. I'm going to put this away because I definitely do not need any more soap. So I'm going to grab my secondary towel here just to make sure I got something to keep my my fingers dry. I have another towel that's underneath the shavette when I put it down out of sight when it's not in use. But I like to have, but that towel of course ends up getting a bit wet from setting the razor and stuff down. So now we go to the scuttle, grab the brush, and oh shit. Well, that's unfortunate. My lather just dissipated into nothing. No, I'm just fucking kidding. There's plenty of lather there. Sorry, Johan. I couldn't help it. Or Ewan. I don't know why I keep calling you Johan. I guess it's because how your name is spelled. Still lather in the tips. So I can actually do a bit of scrubbing. Another bloop. It's going to take me a half hour to find all the soap on the floor when I'm done here. Anyway. And then we'll just mix that around. Actually, I'm going to get some of this flow through and try and get that back into the tips. This is a really good badger knot too. This releases lather nicely. But see what I mean? Like, it's a lower structure lather. You're not going to get those huge peaks that are associated, you know, with a thicker lather. But You know, so this is a little bit on the pastier side, I guess, but it's still very well hydrated though, which is nice. It's still slick as shit. And even though it's, you know, even though, I don't know, it's hard to describe what Williams feels like. If this was a super fatted soap and it was kind of like in this condition, it would be really gummy and really sticky. And you would know that you definitely need to add more water, but Williams isn't like that. When you get the Williams lather to this stage, like I said, like a fairly heavy load and 3 applications of water, you get to this stage, this is where it shines. It's nice and slick, not going anywhere, and yeah, just good times. So we go across the grain, gotta be careful here. Now the tendency with a razor like this, especially it's very quiet on that pass for me, you may, and this is directed to you, Robert, you may want to feel like you need to bear down and put a little bit of pressure, but do not. That was actually cutting there, and you can't really feel it cutting per se, and you don't really hear it cutting, you just very negligibly hear it cutting, but it was definitely cutting. There's absolutely not a whisker to be found going across my face there. It is just smooth as all can get out. So that's one thing with the shavettes, you really got to be careful. Sometimes they sound or they feel like they're not fully cutting, but they are. It's just because they're so dang sharp. Very nice. Very nice. So far the shave is going wonderfully. Now I got a bit of soap on the scales here because I'm a bit of a sloppy shaver sometimes, so make sure I dry that off. Even though they are rubberized, they do get a bit slippery, or slippy as we call them here on the island. Whew, that is one sharp piece of kit. Love it. I'm actually really enjoying this shave, as you can see. All that lather there. Really enjoying this shave. It's funny because Williams is not something I reach for an awful lot. You know, just because I have so many good soaps. But I do enjoy using it though. I really do. And I mean, for me, for my skin, it's plenty slick. It does the job just great for me. And yeah, I quite like it. I quite like it. Make a quick lather with it, and load up and go, and have a nice shave. It's now going into pass number 3. That's what the brush looks like. I don't know what to tell you. There's all kinds of lather there. So we just caught some. But yeah, that's the biggest thing I can't enforce that more. Grate this into a container and your life will be so much easier if you decide that you really want to use Williams and you're struggling. Just grate it into a container, grate it into a mug, grate it into a bowl, just grate it into something, add a bit of water, make your little paste, pat it down, like smush it down so it forms a puck, pour the excess water out, let it cure, and then just go to town. Because I think that allows a little bit more water into it when you're lathering, and it kind of changes. It changes the consistency of it, I think, a little bit, and just makes it so much easier to deal with, as you can see. Now for this grip, Robert, I just like to pinch, index finger, thumb, and then I got my middle finger wrapped underneath. So I'm just holding it and guiding it. Nice gentle strokes, nice gentle touch. Nice. That's BBS right there, pretty much. And same for the other side. This is my least favorite pass, though. Although I like this pass better with shavettes for some reason. I just find I get better shaves with my shavettes than the straights. I think my skin favors the mechanically sharpened blades more. I really do. All right, so I'm gonna do my quick cleanup, and I'll be back with the post here in a minute. Back in a second. All right, we are back, and that was a very, very nice shave indeed. Nice and close, comfortable. And I want to show you the brush. So I did an extra 1.5 passes off camera to do the cleanup with my DE, and that's what I'm left with in the brush. So there's still quite a bit of lather in here. Let's see if I can squeeze that out of the tips. So there you go. That's all the lather out of the brush. That's what I'm left with. Like, that's the lather, folks. There's probably still enough there for 2 or 3 passes that was spread out on the face. So quite happy with that. So yeah, follow those tips, and I think you will be all right. So Ewan, I know you're resisting it, but you need to get out the microplaner. And if you don't have a microplaner, don't go buy a microplaner. Just use a cheese grater. It'll do the same thing in the end. So you'll be fine. You will be fine. And for the splash, we're going to go with the C4 Spiced. Now, I know what you're saying. You're also saying, well, what if I don't have a cheese grater? I don't have an empty tub, and I want to use just the puck, because I know some of you have probably been screaming that at your device this whole time. Just soak the Williams. Bloom it like you're going to bloom. Load it like you're going to bloom. Mitchell's wool fat. And then use a fairly dry / damp brush. You don't want to soak a wet brush. And then just load fairly heavy off of that until the tips of your brush look just like you're loading any other soap, especially a super fatted soap. You want the lather to look pasty in the tips of your brush. You do not want it to look like runny and watery and really loose. You want it to be like pasty. That's what you're looking for. But I find the easiest way to get there, without really any trial and error or having to do crazy things, is just grate it down. Add a bit of water, make a bigger puck out of it with some water in it. Super hydrate that and let it cure, and you're off to the races. And you won't have any complaints about loading or lathering Williams ever again. So anyway, folks, that's it for me. Probably a little long one today. I'm not quite sure on the time, but anyway, hopefully this helps. You want to hope this helps you out without causing you too much frustration. I'm sorry, but I mean, I find it quite easy to work with under the circumstances that I have it set up for. And that's it. So anyway, until next time, my friends, be safe, be kind to one another. Most importantly, have a great day and even better shave. And we're going to catch you in the next one. Peace.